Hi, in this video we're going to cover references, we're going to cover creating subprograms, and we're going to see like different methods how we can use subprograms and reference methods to create all kinds of constructions in here. References are very important if you want to create like complex formulas. It allows you to break up your formula into multiple parts and make sure that they are referenced to each other. So to demonstrate like the most simple example, I'm going to start by creating a circle. So as you can see, our formula is bound to a simple name, A. We're going to rename this. So we're going to change the bindings name to circle. So now if we create like a new formula, and we have over here our first spot selected, now we can create like a reference by clicking on this link. So as you can see, the circle right now is being referenced. So suppose that we have a function to just move the circle a little bit higher. So let's move it, for example, over here. So if you would change the formula over here in the circle, then it will be applied as a reference towards what we have in the binding of A. So rotation is not going to make like a lot of sense, but suppose that we do some scaling first. So we flatten it. And as you can see, it directly is getting propagated towards the formula of A. So whatever that we do as operations right now, it's always propagated. So this allows you to create formulas which are broken up into multiple sections. We can also indirectly create references. For example, right now I have this float value selected over here. What we can do is we can split the formula in two parts. So by clicking on it, right over here, it's going to be isolated and created into a new formula. You can also have the formula being split up into multiple sections. So for example, if we take over here the end result of our circle, which is being scaled, and we take the end result of this, and we do a split right now, you'll see that this whole part of the formula right now has been separated from the circle we had before. You can see inside the circle formula that the references are still there. So in other words, if I go to B and I change this value, you see everything is still being propagated. So you can recombine using references, but you can also split up an existing formula into multiple parts. So let's rename this one to rotation value, and let's rename this formula into ellipse. Doesn't make any sense anymore what we have over here, so let's rename this as well, rotating ellipse. Let's rename this one to move up. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to make all of these into a subprogram. So select the first one and shift click with the last one so all of them get selected. Let's get to the three dots we see over here. And right here you see we can group the selected formula into a subprogram or press with Alt down. So the moment that you do that, all of the programs have been collapsed into this one thing. Also what you see by default, the last node is being the name right now of the group. So let's rename this one into subprogram for now. Okay, what we can do is we can inspect what's inside. So as you can see over here, navigate into the subprogram. So let's click on that and we see everything being added over here. Now the way how subprograms works, always the last formula that we see over here is going to be displayed. So there are many things that we can do over here, but let's go on with it step by step. So imagine that we want to adjust the rotation value at one point. So we have like a subprogram and we want to reuse that subprogram somewhere else. and we want to make it possible for us to change the rotation value. So click on the rotation value, and we can add right over here, make it into an adjustable parameter. The moment you do that, you get this bold, and that is the indication that it's going to be available as a value that you can change. So let's go up. What we're going to do right now is we're going to create a new formula that we're going to link towards the subprogram. So as you see right now, we just have the subprogram, but if we want to adjust something in that subprogram, we don't have immediate access. For that, you need to go to the Adjust tab. So once you click on that, we have several options. I'm not going to go over each one of these. We're just going to look at one adjusted instance. So it's creating like one instance of the subprogram, and we're going to adjust this. So right now you see the range is there, and the range allows us to work with the bolts. We can unscrew those bolts. Now you will see we have this as the default value which is part of the subprogram. Right now we cannot adjust this value. So let's go back. So what we can do is we can break that link towards it. So once you break it, you have it, and you can start to adjust it into the subprogram. And as you can see, we can have multiple of these. So let's link this one to the same process, adjust. And right now we can rotate in a different way. So you can make copies like this. So as you can see, you can have instances of subprograms, and those instances can be driven by unique values. The same way you can do something else. For example, I'm gonna add over here a new formula. I'm gonna add time. Let's rename this to time. And in this instance, I can connect and bind towards time. And so, as you can see, this one is rotating. Like I said, the end result is always from the last node. So if you want to see this, there's two ways that you can do this. Let's just go by the default. It's just making sure that this one is the last one. There's another way. Suppose you don't want to change the order. What you can do is you can pin towards the selection. And then we see the result over here. To keep in mind that if we pin something and you have like something selected over here, the pinning is going to show always the selection. So you can select several things within your formula if you want to make it really clear and visible into your viewport. I'm going to put this one to the last again. So we're going to stop time here. So this concludes the video in which we demonstrated how we can link together formulas and how we can combine formulas together into subprograms.